because I forgot. Yeah. Okay. So you were saying that while you're doing the e-stim, you were curious about what you had to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing with electrical stimulation, and maybe this might be beneficial to you, Lillian, if you're using electrical stimulation. I don't know, but maybe you can listen to our conversation here. But the thing with electrical stimulation is that it really only works if you're also going along with it. So what this means is that electrical stimulation, I'll just wait till you're all set, because I just heard some background noise.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. So the thing with electrical stimulation is that it really only works as a tool to help teach your brain how to send those signals again, to turn on muscles like it used to before you had your stroke. So what this means is that some people make the mistake of just using electrical stimulation and just letting the machine do the work. But in order for electrical stimulation to work, you have to consciously be sending a signal from your brain to try and do the same thing the machine is getting you to do. So, for example, the one I showed you a couple of weeks back, which teaches you to relax your fingers, it makes your fingers want to come in like this first. But then after the machine turns off, there's a bounce back where the fingers actually jump out. So what you want to do is when you see your fingers bounce back like that, you want to send a signal from your brain to try and relax your fingers.
Okay.
Yeah. And this also goes with any other electrical stimulation placement. For example, if you're getting one to try and teach your brain how to lift up your shoulder, you would do the same. It's like a good metaphor. It's like have you ever learned how to ride a bike?
No.
Are you serious? Okay.
Yeah, I'm scared of it.
Okay, so no.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mean a motorbike. I mean a push bike.
Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't learned how to ride a push bike before, but you know what a bicycle is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So usually when kids learn how to ride a bike for the first time, they can't get their sense of balance so well.
Yeah.
So they end up falling over because they can't balance on the bike. So one thing which people actually invented is training wheels. And basically what training wheels are things you can put on a bike to help teach your brain how to get its sense of balance until it's able to taper off. So you want to think of electrical stimulation as sort of training wheels. So after a stroke happens, what tends to happen is that your brain forgets how to send signals to turn on muscles and also turn them off. And this might be because some of these signals might be completely gone or they might be weakened. So what electrical stimulation does is it helps to teach your brain how to strengthen up those signals so that it becomes a little bit automatic.
Okay.
And by doing this over time, what you're doing is you're going to strengthen up those signals a lot more. And if you've ever seen any of if you've ever seen power cables, so maybe your so maybe the cable going to your computer, you might notice that they're surrounded with plastic, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So our brain makes connections which is surrounded by this sort of plastic or what they like to call myelin sheath, right? And every time you actually perform the exact same thing, this plastic around the signal actually gets a lot stronger. So that's what electrical stimulation does. It strengthens up the signal, and it only works if you're consciously working your brain at the same time. You can't just set it and forget it, which is basically just putting on the machine and allowing it to do it for you. A lot of recovery after stroke, it's brain training, which means that you can't take on a fitness approach, but rather you're kind of tinkering your brain from the inside out. So you're working on the inside circuitry before you're able to see results on the outside.
Okay.
Yeah. So does that help what you're trying to do with your electrical stimulation?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It helps.
And and I'm just curious, how did you go with the one I showed you a couple of weeks back?
My hand is relaxing. I noticed walking before I used the technique, my hand cleanses up.
Oh, right. So it like wants
Yeah.
to come up like this, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you mind? Yeah, go on. Yeah. Okay. Would you mind showing everyone? Wow.
Oh.
Okay. So that's a really big improvement.
Yeah.
Can you lift it up again? Just so Lillian can see, and also the people who see this recording can see.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a massive improvement. Yeah, I can tell the fingers are a lot more open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed the tension is it's not strong before.
Yeah. Like it feels a lot, like it feels like it's a bit more loose, right?
Yeah. I noticed one day my index finger, the twitching.
Okay. And
index finger. I didn't know. I didn't understand why the twitching. My index finger.
Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you. So you said that your index finger was twitching.
Yeah. I don't know why.
It could be because that's something called a muscle fasciculation, which is basically what happens when you're I think muscles in general after stroke, they tend to get a little bit more fatigued. So you might see some of that muscle fasciculation happening. But overall, that looks really promising. It really looks good, because I can remember when I first saw you the other week that your hand wasn't loose at all. It was pretty much clenched up. So how do you feel about it?
I was sick last week during the week because of a cold. On the top of that, I got a booster.
Okay.
I out of commission the therapy.
Right.
Needed to stop it, resting.
But the good thing is that it's more relaxed, and you can see like the changes. And that's just one of the things which I show my paying clients to help them see results. And I'm glad to see that you were able to apply it after you had said that. I think you mentioned that you had reached a wall in your recovery, or a brick wall in your recovery.
The therapist just released me from therapy, outpatient therapy, because of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, obviously they were wrong in this case, because you've seen changes, but overall it looks really good. Very relaxed.
My dad noticed it.
That's really good. And I think now, because last time you were asking about how to open up your fingers, and I was saying how sometimes the muscle tightness, or the muscles which you use to flex the fingers, because they're a little bit overactive and your brain doesn't know how to relax them. Your brain not knowing how to do that can actually stop you from opening up your fingers. But now that your fingers are a little bit more open, I think that if you are looking to teach your brain how to open up your fingers, you might be able to get more results with that opening up one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at it now, it's if you're going to use it now, it's likely that your fingers aren't going to go like this when you have the machine on. But it's quite often people who have muscle tightness and they use the electrical stimulation, their fingers might go up like that and they won't completely extend. But now that your fingers are more relaxed, you might see that they might actually lengthen out completely. So
yeah, my hand opens up in bed.
Yeah.
I yawn, reflex the opening. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a morning thing.
Yeah.
And that's basically the brain. I wouldn't get too excited about that. I don't want to say that. But I don't really like to sugarcoat things, so I kind of have to say that. But that's
A reflex.
it is a reflex. It's not voluntary. It just means that your brain's trying to overcome the muscle tightness.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm really glad to see. I'm really glad to see that, you know, your hand opened up. And for everyone watching this replay, you can see with Lucy's hand, and if you compare it to the last replay, which I uploaded, you can really see that her hand has opened up a lot more this week, just after doing that electrical stimulation and teaching her brain how to relax the fingers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really, really happy for you and really glad to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, your dad noticed it.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one else has entered as of yet, unfortunately, but I'm hoping that within the next 40 minutes, people will. So Lillian, I'm just curious, when it comes to your recovery, do you have any questions about things that you would like to, things that you could do to, you know, continue to get
working on my left arm at the moment in therapy, trying to get it moving.
Sorry?
We're just working on my left arm, trying to get it moving in therapy, occupational therapy.
Okay. And what's happening with that?
It works a little bit, but not much.
Okay. Can you show me? Yeah, probably show your camera. Okay.
That's about all it moves. I can
Okay.
lift up with the shoulder.
Yeah, I can see it.
But
All
I
right.
can't lift it all the way up yet.
Okay. And how long have you been? Oh wait, Lucy's back. What is she doing? Lucy's back.
Yeah, I'm 6 months post-stroke.
Okay. Yeah. So you're 6 months post-stroke and you're currently receiving therapy, occupational therapy, I assume. And they're trying to get your left hand and arm moving.
Yes.
Okay. And so far you can really only do this.
Yeah.
So what therapies have they? I'm curious what therapies and what exercises have they suggested to you at
She puts my arm in an air cast,
right.
and then and if we put my arm up, I can usually hold it up for like 5 seconds, and then I lower it down in a controlled manner.
Right. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And did she give you the reasoning behind why she does that?
To build strength in my muscles that are needed to get the movement I need.
Okay. But you're hoping that you can lift up your arm a lot higher, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm just curious. What? I know the OT wants to get your arm and hand moving, but I'm curious for yourself, Lillian. What do you want to get out of your recovery most?
I want to be able to crochet again.
Sorry, what's that? Crochet?
Crafting.
Oh, crafting. I've never heard that word before. It might be American because I'm Australian, right? So
yeah.
Crochet. That's neat. Let me write that one down. How do you spell it? C-R-O?
C-R-O-C-H-E-T.
C-R-O-C-H-E-T. H-E-T. Crochet.
Crochet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
like knitting, but
crafting.
different.
Okay, sure. Right. I'll I mean, I feel like I'm becoming a little bit more American, but that's
That's how you make blankets.
Oh, isn't that someone else told me about that? They said it was quilting.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that the same thing?
Yeah. My leg's coming back really good though.
Okay. But mainly
I
it's
can walk. I'm planning to do a 5K in February.
okay. Wow, that's great. It's fantastic.
Yes. So I need to get the arm so I can lift it up in the air when I go across the finish line.
Yeah, that's
For a
great.
finish line picture.
Yeah, so so here's what I think you could do with your left arm lifting up. So one thing I could show you today, and I think it might be beneficial to everyone watching this recording, is I can show you something called cross-transference learning. Have you heard of it before?
No.
Okay, so basically it's this idea that in recovery after stroke, you can teach your brain how to get back your affected arm, or your left arm in your case, by using the part of the brain which wasn't damaged by your stroke.
Yeah.
So our brain has two hemispheres, right? The right hemisphere and the left, or you might be seeing the left hemisphere for me here and the right here. And both of these hemispheres, right, the right and left, they're in constant communication before your stroke, right? Which is why you could multitask and do things such as being able to drive and talk at the same time, etc. So what they've actually found in research and studies is that some parts of your body, they actually share the same function across both hemispheres. So
right.
what this means, so what this means is that you can potentially teach your brain how to lift up your left arm, or make it a lot stronger by training up your other arm, by training up your stronger side. So for example, what they found is that people, weightlifters who have gone to the gym and trained up just one bicep, after 6 or 8 weeks, they found that the other bicep on the other side actually got stronger. Yeah. Because of this cross communication, which means that there are certain muscles on your body, especially the ones which are closest to your center, which are shared across both hemispheres of your brain. So have you ever seen people with a six-pack?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you might notice if you flex your stomach, that one side just doesn't go up, right? Both sides go up automatically.
Right.
And that means that this muscle, or your stomach muscles, they're actually shared across both sides of your brain, which is why walking actually comes back a lot quicker, because your brain uses your right leg, or your unaffected leg, as a reference point to teach itself how to guide the affected leg. And this also, so this doesn't just work for your stomach muscles and your trunk muscles, which are basically the muscles above your leg, but it also works for muscles in your shoulder. So what this means is that if you train up muscles around your healthy shoulder or your non-affected shoulder, you can potentially teach your brain how to strengthen up the muscles around your affected shoulder, in other words, your left shoulder, so that you can lift up your arm a lot higher. So I'm going to give you a special treat today, and it's something you can do tonight before you go to bed. And it's something which I've had a lot of success with paying clients in the past. It's what I like to call the exercise which can teach your brain how to wake up your arm overnight. It might sound really salesy, but it does work. So what I want you to try before you go to bed tonight, while you're sitting up by your bed, is I want you to try doing a shoulder shrug on your right side. So your right side's healthy, right? It's not affected, right? I want you to try shrugging your right shoulder about 50 times, right? 50 or 100 times, just your right shoulder only. And what this actually does is this actually creates a small contraction on your left side. And you want to do this before you go to bed tonight.
Okay.
And tomorrow morning, as soon as you wake up, what I want you to do while you're still lying down in bed is I want you to try to send a signal from your brain to try and lift up your left arm while lying down in bed.
Okay.
And if you've done this right, what you might notice is you might be able to lift up your left arm a little bit higher than before. And also while you're sitting up, you might find that your left arm might actually go up a bit higher as well. Because we're using cross-transference, or the theory of cross-transference learning, to teach your brain how to train up the affected side using the unaffected side. And the reason why this works, if you're curious, like I am, about all the theory, is because a lot of recovery after stroke, it actually happens from your healthy brain. So the healthy hemisphere of the brain, the hemisphere which wasn't damaged, teaching the damaged hemisphere how to do things which you used to do before you had your stroke. So if I were to draw a picture for you and also the people watching this replay, this actually might help you to have a good understanding why this happens. So this is what I like to call essential neuroscience that I think every stroke survivor should know. But basically, your brain has two hemispheres, right? When we cover this, yeah? So you've got your left and you've got your right here. Actually, I screwed this up. 1 second. Yep, so you've got your left here and you've got your right here. Yep. Does that make sense? Okay, yes. So I want you to pretend, because you know that the right hemisphere controls your left arm and the left hemisphere controls your right arm. So I want you to pretend that this part of the brain here was damaged. I'm just trying to think how this works in relation to your situation. Okay, so I want you to imagine that you've got this part of the brain damaged here, right? So you can see a black spot right here on your right hemisphere, right? Which is the one which controls your left arm, right?
Right.
So what happens in recovery after stroke and how recovery happens is because we've got that cross communication between both hemispheres already. What tends to happen is that the healthy hemisphere, in other words, your left hemisphere, which is the one controlling your right arm or your right side, that's going to teach your right hemisphere, the one which controls your left side, how to do some things it used to do. And what the left hemisphere is going to do is it's actually going to send a signal from one side to teach the other side how to do some of that stuff, right? So essentially what you have is you have something like this. So does that make sense? How you've got a damaged part of the brain, but you've got the healthy part sending a signal over to the damaged part how to do the job.
Right.
Yeah, so that's basically how recovery, that's basically how most recovery after stroke happens. And what happens as you continue to practice is that black part actually starts to be taken over by, I mean, that black part will always be there because it's where the lesion happened. But essentially what you have is you have this red thing, which is going to repair that black part. And it won't be fully repaired, but it'll be something like that. And then you might also have other signals going over here as well to repair a part there, and so on and so forth. But you will still have some damage around that area. So I will put a little bit of a drawing here. So as you can see here, we have the left, the healthy part of your brain, teaching the damaged part of your brain how to do stuff, but the damage is still there because brain damage never goes away. It's still going to be there. It's just being taken over by the healthy part or the healthy signals coming through from the other side. So when you try this cross-transference learning, and this goes with any exercise in recovery after stroke. So Lucy, this might well happen with electrical stimulation. Your brain might find another way to teach your brain how to open up the fingers. It might not use the same route, but it follows a very similar process where you're having the healthy parts of your brain, which are teaching your brain how to repair itself or do things it used to. So does that make sense? A better way to explain it would actually be to think of a GPS. So you've heard of GPS, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're traveling from your place to, let's say, the supermarket. There are like an infinite amount of routes you could take. And there's probably one route which your brain favored before you had a stroke. So what happens after stroke is that rather than taking the favored route, your brain is probably going to take the long way around to get to the destination. And it's going to find a way to do that through this process. So yeah, I think if you gave that exercise a go tonight, it might actually be helpful for you. And another thing I would encourage you to explore is electrical stimulation. Have you had any luck with that?
I haven't done it yet, but my neurologist was telling us about it.
Yeah. So you're not on a pacemaker or anything?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you also might benefit from electrical stimulation like Lucy has, because it's going to really encourage that process, which I just went through, and it's going to teach your brain how to send those signals and create or strengthen up those pathways which it might have lost or might have been weakened after your stroke. How long has it been since your stroke again?
6 months.
Yeah, so 6 months. So 6 months
Almost.
isn't. Yeah, so 6 months isn't so long that your brain will forget everything, but it's a good time window to really jump on recovery. So I think electrical stimulation might be a really good thing for you to really get the shoulder going, especially because when you're doing stuff with the air cast, but you don't have that much movement, you can actually run the risk of teaching your brain to compensate more than actually teaching your brain how to send the correct signals. Because the air splint itself, it stops your elbow from going in, but you don't have to actually think about stopping your elbow from going in. So it's like putting a Band-Aid on, something your brain is wanting to do as a bad habit. So I think electrical stimulation might be something worthwhile to explore. Have you had a look at machines?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a really good machine on Amazon. I think it's like $50 or like $30. It's called the 10-7000. And I think it actually might be it. And even though it's called TENS, it actually has an EMS function, which is electrical muscle stimulation function, which you can get to by adjusting the settings. I think that might be really good for you. I'll put in I'll type it in here so you can look it up. I think it might be something worthwhile to look at if you're really serious about getting your arm back or getting your arm to lift up a lot higher. And I can show you, I'll be happy to show you, some things you can do to get the shoulder going. But yeah, I think that's something which is worthwhile exploring. Let me see if I can find a link here. Do you have any questions around that or anything?
No.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay, so let me see if I can send it. Yeah. Okay, I'm just typing it in here. Maybe I can get it. And then I will share the link in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so you got it?
Yep.
Yeah, so that one's the one to go for. And a lot of people have had success with that as well. Okay, so no one is coming up. I don't know why. I don't know why no one's coming up, but we got, I guess we got 24 minutes till the top of the hour. So I'm just curious, it's only you two here. Do you have any other questions about recovery after stroke or anything else you would like to cover? Okay, because I can, I mean, I do these every week, and I'm hoping that you guys can go away this week and apply some of the things I shared with you. And then hopefully next week when I host the next one, you guys can come back and then you can tell me how you went with those exercises.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Okay, so because no one is showing up, unfortunately, I will end the class now, and I will upload the recording onto my YouTube channel. In case you guys haven't seen my YouTube channel, it's Stroke Survivors Community. I haven't touched it in ages, but I'll upload it. And I believe you two are in my Facebook group. So
I believe so.
yeah, you will see the notification once it goes up. But try that exercise out tonight, the shoulder shrugging, and try to lift up your arm tomorrow morning. And if we've done this right, you might see that you can lift up your left arm a lot higher. Okay.
Okay.
All right, everyone, I'm going to end it now. No more questions? No one have anything else they want to ask?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Okay. Really good to talk